Hello everybody, I'm Mike Shaw. I'll be one of your live stream hosts for this weekend's Kubota Olympus Rally presented by Dirtfish. We're out here on what is one of the test roads that was used before the event starts this weekend. And one of the things we talk about a lot is how on these roads, the first few cars end up sweeping the road or they end up doing cleaning. What does that really mean? Well, this right here is a perfect example. Being on one of these test roads, you can see the loose gravel here that it starts out at, right here in the middle. This is what the first cars are on. It's slippery, it's all loose. The car's gonna be moving all over the place. As they tear through this road with those grippy tires, they start to loosen it all up and spread it to the side, and then you get down to this bedrock. This right here grips almost as good as tarmac on their tires. So the first cars are gonna be loose and slippery. The ones farther back are gonna be really grippy. So that means the starting position really means a lot for rallies like this. Well, good morning, rally fans. We're here on the final of the Kubota Olympus Rally presented by Dirtfish. We're out on the Schafer stage. This is the second stage of the first stages today. We've had a lot of drama over the last day. What a weekend. So many competitors, concerns about dust because there are so many cars. We've really kind of had to adjust the schedule quite a bit to try and make sure there's equal competition amongst everybody out there. That is one of the things that's so awesome about this rally and how American rallying has elevated over, especially this last year. We now have competitors in the Rally 2 cars and the RC2 class. They are all so equal in performance that you got to do everything you can to make it as equal and fair as possible when they enter the stage. You don't want them blinded by the dust of a car in front of them, and we want to see really good competition. So they moved everything to a 3-minute dust window for the top cars and a 2-minute dust window for all the regionals, all the cars behind them that are a little bit farther back. They've also done a little bit of a change specifically for today, where they're going to run all the national entered competitors first, and then all the regionals after them. Even some of the fast regionals will come behind. There's a specific reason for that. It's because the nationals run a special power stage, if you may remember, and that's the last stage of the day for them. Regionals don't do that last stage, so it allows them to kind of regroup those cars together and get them off to that final stage while we're doing the podium for the regionals, and it all flows a little bit more smooth, and we get all the stages in today because we want to get as many stage miles in, obviously, as possible. So that's a little bit of a change. We'll try and announce all the cars as they come through. We do have a list on the handy tablet of the start order because, like I said, it's very different. It's not just by their speed factor. It's all the nationals by speed factor, then the regionals by speed factor with a little bit of a gap in between. So I just want to give you a heads up. If you're thinking the car that you saw come 10th on the road yesterday, that's not going to be the case today, potentially. So just a little bit of a heads up on that change in the start order. So what do we have going on as far as the results? Handy dandy sneak attack rally here. We still have Jari-Matti Latvala with a clear lead, couple minutes. He has been just dominant here this weekend. What I've been especially impressed with is that such a new build of that Toyota GR Corolla RC2 has held up. These are demanding stages, as tough as anything you'll find in the WRC, especially after we did Wildcat and all that. They've had no mechanical issues whatsoever. So it really goes to show how much work the TRG team put into building that car to make it so that it was going to be sturdy and could handle all the conditions thrown at it. And again, they have been just well in the front. Second is still Tom Williams. He moved ahead of Seth Quintero yesterday. So you have Jari-Matti Latvala, followed by Tom Williams, followed by Seth Quintero. Let's see here. Then we have, my things just all kind of swapped around because the first stage has already started, which is Coonley, just before us. Then we had drama in the limited four-wheel drive class. Travis Pastrana, unfortunately, went a little too wide and rolled onto his roof. DNF'd for the day yesterday on Nawatzel. So that means he's well back as far as where he's going to be in position. Aoife Raftery, who is really kind of hot on his heels, she also had an issue on Nawatzel and was stuck and did not get out. So that means we actually have Mark Pietkowski, who had just passed just a few seconds, is now like I think 20 seconds ahead of Andy Miller. Those two are going to be really battling it out this weekend. Andy Miller, a local favorite, he entered national. They're both in NA 4-wheel drive cars where they've done the H6 swap. That's where they take the 3-liter 6-cylinder engine and put it inside the Subaru Impreza chassis. And those cars are right quick. They really are. So Andy's always been very dominant in our regional championships around here, entered in national, and him and Mark Piakowski will be totally battling it out for that limited 4-wheel drive win in national here. So that's really exciting. They're followed by, who was it that I was saying earlier? Cameron Golson. He's the one that's third in limited 4-wheel drive in national right now. Then we get into the regionals. The big story there is we have, oh gosh, yeah, I'm losing my place and stuff. Josh Gearman, again, one of the H6 swaps, always does really well, but drama for him. Last night I saw a Facebook message like, anybody have an easy 3.0 engine available around somewhere? They did a late night engine swap and we're done at 3 a.m. this morning to get ready for the final day. So hopefully he'll be able to hold on and no issues with the throwing in that extra, throwing in the motor at the last minute and go for that regional overall. In open 2-wheel drive, we have regionally, we have Julian Sabot is leading in that. And what do we have in limited 2-wheel drive? We have Mark Tabor is leading in that. And so his son Henry, unfortunately, ended up, I think, rolling onto his side, something like that yesterday, pushed a little too hard. So there we go. That's what we got kind of going on for right now. We'll tell you more as the cars start flowing. We want to make sure we get to a safe spot because I believe the car started this stage yet. Let me see. Sorry. Looking over at Sneak Attack here. No, they have not started this stage yet. Good, good. Let's see here. I guess I didn't talk about national open 2-wheel drive. Some drama there. Michael Hooper, who was leading in that, he also had an issue yesterday. So that puts, we got William Tung with Michael Shevchik, I believe, is up there leading in the open 2-wheel drive now. See, now you guys are just staring at me, staring at Sneak Attack. Honestly, Sneak Attack is the best place to go to watch all the results. You can see all the split times and everything through there. So sneakattackrally.com, go there and click on the, it's called Rally Combiner thing. And it'll show you just all the times as they're coming in throughout the day. Let's tell you a little bit what we're on too. We're out here on this Schafer stage. This is, like I said, the second stage in a loop of 3 stages they're going to be doing before they go to surface. And we've got a camera kind of looking as they come into this area. And the cars are going to be taking this cut through here. It's a little left-hander, high speed. And then they're going to be coming and we'll just kind of pan around and catch them as they kind of slide wide here. And then there's a nice clearing here where they kind of climb up the ridge and go off into the
2 minutes if you didn't hear it.
All right, first car in 2 minutes. So there we go. We are located, I believe, about how many miles are we in? 5 point what?
What's that?
How many miles? 5 point what?
5.34 or 43.
Okay. So 5.3 miles in.
5.34.
All right. So there we go. So 5.34 miles into this stage. Stage length, I believe, is about 10 miles. So we're about halfway in. So single zero has already gone by and cleared the stage. And we're just waiting for those first cars. I can actually hear over the ridge, the Coonley stage is just before us. You actually transit straight out of Coonley into this stage. They're only, the finish of one to the start of the other is less than a mile. And it's a short shot until they just get right into the next stage. Barely time for the drivers to kind of cool off and whatnot. So just going to go right into it. Should be an exciting one. All right, so back to my results here. Start order. That's what I was going to talk about. So I have that separate thing over here for start order. By the way, also with me is Aaron England. Say hi, Aaron.
Hi, rally friends.
No, you only have one friend,
No,
right?
only one.
Only one.
It's Aaron. Hey, Aaron.
Let's see. So I was pulling up on our Sportity here. So of course we still have Yari Maidalatala first on the road, followed by Tom Williams. Then it'll be Seth Quintero. Then Travis Pastrana. They did get the car fixed, so he's back on the road. then Pat Grushka, then we have Leah Block. Leah's been doing actually really good. I think where is she setting? I think she might be fourth by now. I guess you have to look that up.
And he really sent it at the spot that we were watching last night when we were streaming our final stream.
Yeah, she's right up there. Keep track of Bert versus Pat Grushka, because
Real battle.
yeah, I think they might have a pretty good battle going on. Well, I do see that's a couple minutes, but you know, anything can happen. We had a long day today.
Mm-hmm.
But she was really starting to put on some quick stage times as she's gotten used to that Rally 2 chassis. Have some beautiful background sounds here. There's a creek nearby. We can kind of hear the water rushing, birds chirping. The mosquitoes, thankfully, have died down a little bit.
Thankfully. Special shout out to our ham operator volunteer out here, Adam.
Adam, yes. Say hi, Adam.
Car on.
All right, there we go. We've got first
You guys
car
heard
on.
that? You're good on comms? Cool.
He is all business. We appreciate it.
Here we go. Day 3.
First car is on. Probably should have put rally safe on this thing,
Mm.
but I could see where they are.
Mm.
So again, it'll be 3 minutes between each of the first cars, the first 7 or 8. You know what's unfortunate about that start list I was looking at? Brandon Semenick's not on it.
Oh, really?
So that means, unfortunately, the issues they had with that car were not repairable, and he is out of the rally. Was hoping to see him just on course to try and get some stage wins, or you know, really show how fast he was, or is, but unfortunately did not get the opportunity. Frustrating.
That's rally.
Ouch! He said the words. You have to drink a shot now. A shot of espresso, maybe
Espresso.
At this time of the morning.
Yeah.
Instead of a yes. Anybody that's coming out and spectating, you're gonna need definitely lots of coffee and or some beverage to stay hydrated because it is warm out here. It is supposed to get to 75 today, I think I saw. Far cry from Wednesday. It said it was gonna be rain. So a big change in the weather conditions. Up, I can definitely hear a car approaching. Oh, that's right, you're the panner.
Okay.
Aaron is our official pan man. So first stage that is already done, or with the top competitors. Jari Matti Latvala put in a time of 5 minutes, 40.2 seconds. With Tom Williams, 8 seconds slower, 5 minutes, 48.6 seconds. So, dang, it's so quick. So, Seth Quintero's finished the stage. He did a 5 minute, 55.5 seconds. It's neat to see how quick that Seth has really adapted to stage rally.
Yeah.
To be within, 7 seconds of someone like Tom Williams and all his experience.
Something to be proud of for sure.
Yeah. He's trying to put in a time of 6 minutes, 6:01.4. But faster than him was Aoife Raftery. She had a 6 minutes, 0.7. So Aoife Raftery, stage win over Travis Pastrana.
Fantastic.
We'll have to see how Patrick Grushka and Leah Block when they finish that stage. All right. I think we can hear Jari Matti approaching. Gosh, so cool. You got the cars finishing from Kuhnli, the previous stage. You can hear them in the background, and you hear cars approaching this stage. It's just this awesome just sound of rally all around us. So cool. The other thing that's hard to tell is,
See how early I can get.
There you go. Was it a cool shot? You like it? We thought this place looked pretty darn cool because you can see them as they fade out. So yeah, what a great shot. See them as they climb out the ridge. I can even see a little bit of a dust trail up in the distance. Speaking of dust, when we were driving in, one thing we noticed is in all of the tree-lined areas, no dust at all. These clearings, obviously, you do have a little bit of hanging dust. But what was exciting about it, though, was not dusty. The fact it was just a little bit of moisture from the overnight dew, so that the roads were tacky, like extra grippy, not slimy or slippery. I think this is actually going to be even better for the competitors. They're going to be fast on this stuff this morning. I think that first pass is actually going to be really, really quick for everybody. So it'll be, again, 3 minutes until we see Tom Williams come through.
I really like this spot. We've got another one that's got great audio, no matter where the people are on the stage. The competitors are. We have in the distance just amazing forest motor sounds.
So we do have where Pat Grushka ended up finishing the last stage. Ooh, 11 minutes 32. Something's up with Pat Grushka. You should not be that far back. Something is up. So you're still active in the previous stage is Ricardo Cordero. One of our, he's the Mexican competitor who's started to compete quite a bit in the Northwest. Here he went up and did Big White Rally up in Canada. He's done the Oregon Trail Rally a couple of times, and he actually won it a couple years ago, which was fantastic to watch that. Wasn't so great for Travis and Brandon Semina because
That was that rock.
Yeah, they pulled out that rock on the first running of the Dalles Mountain stage. Travis pulled out the rock, and it broke his car, and then the rock was out, and then Brandon Semina hit that rock. So
Subaru on Subaru crime.
yeah, it's
Okay, here we go.
not their best day. The vroom vroom sounds. This is why we come out here. It's all for that. If you want to come out and actually hear those sounds, obviously spectating is fun, but being a volunteer, you get to be in some of these more remote locations and help block off a road, or, if you're a ham radio operator or you want to get your ham, yeah, that definitely is a need that we have, and you get to enjoy this beautiful outdoors out here and help out with the rally. We always say we can never have too many volunteers.
And to learn more about what volunteer positions are, you can go to the Olympus website. There's a volunteer section, has lots of good information about what you can expect, what kind of roles you can help out the rally with. We need all types of volunteers with all kinds of different skills. So please check it out.
Agreed.
Oh, and Oregon Trail Rally, May
16th and 17th.
16th and 17th.
That's right. Next event in the Northwest. So if you want to volunteer for that one, volunteer Positions are open. Go sign up.
Support your local Northwest rallies, people.
Yes, shameless plug. So it should be Seth Quintero next.
I'm excited to follow him as he's developing and see what kind of times he's going to put up.
I mean, he
in
was
his career.
really impressive in Dakar. I remember
Very
the very
impressive.
first time I saw him, he was in one of those side-by-side things, and they got so many different subclasses now. It's almost a little confusing, but he was just right away. He was so quick. I think his very first time he had some stage wins. Then he got the class win. Seeing an American out there doing as well as he has. I mean, we haven't seen that really since Robbie Gordon was out doing some of the Dakar stuff. So, and then stepping up into the big Toyota Hilux once he started working for Toyota, and again was performing really well out there. So, we're looking for hopefully an overall win maybe from him in the coming years. He's just such an amazing young talent. He was talking to us in Park Expose about how he's also done he was doing some road course racing with Sebastian Loeb. Going door to door with them. I hope it came through on the camera, but what we could see right through the windscreen there, you could watch his hands. It was slow.
Yeah.
His entry and exit and correction coming out of the corner, there was not any herky-jerky, trying to quick correct. It was super calm and smooth. Smooth is fast.
And he is fast.
He has that car dialed in exactly how he wants it. He's not having to fight the car or anything. It's just wow. See here, we're not seeing Yari's timing show up on Rally Safe yet, so I think it must be just an issue with the satellite not getting the time just yet. Sometimes that can happen. Probably it'll pop in when they're on transit. Then they got another stage after this one called Deckerville, another classic of the Olympus Rally, used for many years. That one's interesting because it starts off with a pretty steep climb on loose gravel before it goes up along a ridge line and kind of goes up and down from there. But it's that initial climb at the start that I always found exciting because it's just right at the start control. You're just literally just like scrabbling up this hill. There we go. We have Yari Maddie's time came in, or is that? Nope, Tom Williams' time. So we haven't have Yari Maddie's time has not come in yet. So Tom Williams did this one in 9 minutes, 39.6 seconds. Why no JML time? So next up in our fixed up, might be a few wrinkles on the roof after their slow roll yesterday.
A little more care.
So frustrating. I've talked to many drivers done that. It's like that slow. A little too fast for me to see wrinkles. I think similar to what we saw at the intersection I was at yesterday at Nowatzel is just how much Travis tends to cut the inside of these corners more than some of the other cars. He's just like that extra inch inside that we haven't seen as much from some of the other competitors. Yesterday at the Watzel, where I was, he's the one that pulled out some rocks.
Mhm.
Nobody else had cut that far inside. Thankfully, it didn't cause any punctures or anybody. Some stage times from the previous stage again. What do we got going on here? Ricardo Cordero finished with a 6:07. And there we go. Is that Leah Block? Nope. Javi. And KJ Miller, a 6:03. There we go. They're getting that right up there. And a 6:01 for Travis and Rhiannon. So the faster than some of the Rally 2s out there.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Pushing to the limit. Wow.
Yeah. Well, and then of course you got Aoife in the Rally 3. That she was faster than Travis. So and faster than Javi. That's really impressive.
Very impressive.
So whatever happened to Aoife yesterday, it's not slowing her down today. Not intimidated or anything. Fantastic. There we go. We have Yari Maddie's time in for this stage finally. 9:22.3 versus Tom at 9:39.6. So wow. That is, it just shows how fast Yari is.
Yeah.
Just knowing exactly where to hit those break points and not break too much and just all those little subtle things that add up.
Adds up to real seconds.
Oh, there we go. Finally came in Leah Block's time. I was trying to figure out where her time was. A 5:53.2 on the previous stage. That is looking like third quickest
Wow.
out of everybody. So it's faster than Seth Quintero for Leah Block.
Wow.
Good job. So nice to see her getting more comfortable with that chassis.
I could tell she was going for it last night, so.
Drushka should be the next one that we see. Just a couple of minutes here. Been getting steadily faster and faster with that Hyundai i20N Rally 2. Him and his co-conspirator, Alistair Scully. So neat to have those Hyundais out here. Has been a really good car when you see stuff in the Rally 2s and the WRC and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few using that.
Yeah. I love to see
those and the Skodas.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love to see the added manufacturers this year, especially.
There's so many more European manufacturer machines that we now are getting over here to the States, and it's drawing in a lot of those European and elsewhere, all over the world competitors wanting to check out the American rally. It's just fun to see, just helping grow the sport. We have for a time came in for Travis and Rhiannon. They did it in 10 minutes, 08.3 seconds. So far, fourth quickest. As you can tell, that is very not Patrick Grushka. That is very much a Leah Block. And that would make sense considering that, we had such a unfortunate stage time that is several minutes too long for Pat Grushka on the previous stage. He has pulled over and he's either working on the car in the transit between the two or is DNF. Not sure yet what's happened there. I'm gonna have myself a drink because
Have yourself a
March.
drink, Mike.
Well, not that kind of drink. Oh, that comes after podium.
After champagne spray. Actually, is it a beer spray? That was last year. Last year we had a beer spray.
Don't ever do a podium with beer.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. It does not spray. It just bubbles.
It's sticky too. Real sticky.
Oh no, champagne's really sticky too. Trust me, I know that one. But it doesn't spray. It's not worth it. Ooh, soon. What I was really looking for is to see the Andy Miller versus Mark Piatkowski. Are their stage? Nope, they're still in the previous stage. Oh, can't wait to see the stage times. Actually, do we have Andy Miller's time? We do. Previous time for Andy Miller, 6 minutes, 8.5 seconds. 6 minutes, 8.5. So what is the time for, maybe it just hasn't shown up yet. Mark Piatkowski was supposed to start before him, and the clock's still running. Hopefully that's just a out of sync thing for the rally safe. Otherwise, we have a lead change. Next up should be Aoife. Bring the motorsports liveried car.
Looks great.
Smooth hands.
Yeah, smooth.
Just saw kind of just one little turn in. Just a minor correction coming out.
Aoife and Leah both sending it.
We have Martina Samsonis as the next car. Ooh, I think the times finally came in. There we go. What happened to Mark Piatkowski? Ooh, battle is on. So Mark Piatkowski, 6 minutes, 10 seconds flat. With Andy Miller, 6 minutes, 08.5 seconds.
Wow.
So 2.5 second or 1.5 second difference between the two. The overall now between them is, let's see here. It's like 7.9 seconds. My math is right.
Wow.
The battle is on. That's so cool. 7.9 seconds. Actually, that's right. That's a nice thing about this thing is you can go into show options And you can tell it to show difference. 5 different times. No, I,
I wouldn't-
show different times.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of a seesaw battle the rest of the stages with a 8-second differential. Could be like one of those basketball games with the constant lead change every basket.
So I want to do like the between times. Not the wrong thing.
We're getting some great rally sounds out here right now from both stages or from
Okay, different from previous,
different points
from
of the stages.
Different from previous. Oh, it's not showing right now because there's the other stage has interrupted it. Damn it. So I have to wait till they're done with this stage to see what that actual difference is, but say it ain't much.
You got one approaching?
Yep. Martinez in that open 4-wheel drive rally car there. One of the sponsors of, actually the sponsor of our service park, Samsonas. You may have recognized their name if you're into doing rally car builds. They're well known for suspension and other components for building out your rally car. So make sure you check out Samsonas when it comes to rally car parts. They make some pretty darn good stuff out there. Difference from previous. So right now, just between first and second, the lead that Yari Matty has is 4 minutes 21.1 seconds.
Wow. Just world class.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
literally.
It's fantastic having people like this and compete here and see what we are all about, giving a lot of credence to this event. It's really fun.
And then Seth is 1 minute 14 behind 0.2 behind Tom Williams, and a 3-minute gap until we get to Travis Pastrana. No, that can't be right. Oh well, I guess that's for now. It probably doesn't have the penalties from yesterday in there. Oh, never mind. Leah Block. That's who the next one is. That makes more sense. Yeah, because there we go. It says 27 minutes. There, that's better. So yeah, 3 minutes until Leah Block. So 3 total minutes behind Seth Quintero. That's not bad at all, actually.
Not bad.
All right. What we got next here? See, we had Aoife come through. We had Martinez come through. I think Ricardo Cordero. Should be the next one on course. Nope. Javi and KJ. Oh, it could have been for those two.
Gutted for them.
Electrical issue on Friday. And yeah. Weren't able to complete all the stages.
And two of the nicest people.
Yes. Him and
Here we go.
KJ,
Here we go.
fantastic team. And quick. A little bit more of a lift halfway through that corner at the high speed section over there. Did notice he took this apex a little bit earlier than some of the others. You really see him kind of dig in there. But then again, the road does adapt, right? It changes as cars go over it. Do you see there's a pretty good sized rock right there? Probably see it kind of in view that we'll see if any cars end up hitting that thing. There's a few others kind of strung out there, but
Yeah, they're hooking this.
we'll see how much they if they dive in too much. It's kind of a rounded rock though. Hopefully it won't do any damage.
It's a smooth baby head.
Hey, when we used to do the New England Forest Rally, baby heads were a thing. There were stones embedded in the road that you just see the crowns of them. That's what they jokingly called baby heads. And I mean, there were not stones you could pull out or anything. These are giant boulders. It's just the tops of them that would just get exposed over time. And you'd just be driving down the stage road and you'd see these areas that are painted orange. Caution, is they just paint these, again, baby heads of the tops of these giant boulders that were exposed throughout the stage. And there's certain sections you see a whole bunch of them. And then other areas you would see any at all. But yeah, kind of famous at New England Forest Rally for that. Would love to see them come back on the national calendar someday. As is always, it's hard to get roads and an organizing group that can run these events. It takes a whole lot of people to make these things happen. And I've been struggling a little bit to get that all put together. And I think there's been a couple of the roads they were trying to use before, they can't use anymore. That can happen with the changes in all kinds of things from, managements of the forest, different people there that, hey, we're going to start logging this area, or there's some other activity there that they don't want the rally on that specific road. There aren't any others to choose from. And so you have to really just kind of keep searching to find the roads that we can use for racing.
That's one of the reasons we definitely appreciate Green Diamond here at Olympus.
Been a huge supporter. I mean, all of these roads are on Green Diamond land.
Green Diamond Resources is a fantastic resource for the Olympus team. Really appreciate them.
And just looking at the movements, someone that I wonder if he's completely happy with the setup that he's got in that car. There was a lot more, a little bit more seesawing behind the wheel. Then again, he's a little bit farther back. He's looking for stones, maybe the rocks that he kind of saw on the line there. He's a little bit worried about it.
Yeah, they are definitely playing.
So, that sweeping video that we started off the live stream with my horrible hand and waist movements. But we were talking about how the first cars, a few cars can sweep the road clear, but there's also a danger in being a car farther back. Yes, you get a nice cleaned swept line where you get maybe more grip, but you get the stones pulled out. You're also maybe driving the line of those other drivers that maybe wouldn't take the corner the same way that you would. We talked to Jari-Matti Latvala in the Park Expose about this, and he was, saying that, he actually chose to be first on the road because he actually thinks him picking his own line is more important than being farther back and having a cleaner road. Next up, we should have, gotta keep my tablet and my phone ready. The phone's got the start list, and the tablet has the rally safe. Alistair Scully should be up next. Another Hyundai i20. N. Gotta get that N in there.
Got to. Spent a lot of money on that N.
The N for Neuville, because he's been with them pretty much since the whole N thing started.
Yeah.
It was hard to see him lose the Croatian Rally just a week ago on the last stage.
So,
But awesome to see second win in a row for Takamoto Katsuda.
mhm.
You know, he's been right about there so many times. So he got a Safari win and gets a Creation win, and I believe technically is leading the championship. Well, that rock is definitely pulled up a little bit more. You can tell where he cut through that corner that he definitely churned it up a little more. But I would say smooth hands on him from what I could see. Just kind of just one single input into that corner and a small correction coming out, and that was it. All right, next up. And then we get into Mark Pietkowski versus Andy Miller. 8-second gap between the two, approximately. This is where actually I'm going to pull up a stopwatch app.
Yeah, this would be interesting. Yeah.
I'll pick a point. Anybody can do this from home, even just if you're watching stuff on TV, you know, on the live stream or anything like that.
You could also maybe use this or just our live timer if you wanted to.
True, but that's full seconds.
Could be full seconds.
Yeah. So what you can do is you can just take a stopwatch, pick a point that the car passes, and as it just hits that point, hit start on your stopwatch. Then, and I'm just using a stopwatch app on my phone. Then when the next car goes by, you hit the lap timer, and you'll see that difference between the two times. Remember, these cars with Mark Pietkowski and Andy Miller, they should be 2 minutes apart. They're no longer part of that 3-minute group. And if it's more than 2 minutes from Mark to Andy, Mark is extending his lead. If it's less than 2 minutes, then Andy is catching Mark Pietkowski. So here we are. Again, we found out we were about 5.34 miles into the stage. Within 5 miles is one catching the other. We'll be able to find that out here real quick here. And I could definitely hear them. Those 6-cylinder engines.
Mm-hmm.
Is that higher RPM sound? That wee, wee. Love it. Wish there were more 6-cylinder engine rally cars just because they sound so great.
I love the 5.
Okay, well, that's going way back.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the 40th
Just the sound of it.
anniversary of Group B when there were the WRC here at Olympus.
I got to say, I love the 3-cylinder sounds too. I mean, it seems so rumbly.
It is
It's
extremely rumbly. Yeah. It at first, I remember it was really kind of weird hearing them.
Yeah. They sound angry.
Right. So here we go. Should be Mark Pietkowski. Sounds so good. Sounds so good. Stephen Red Racing built car there. Built and maintained.
Check
Right.
road.
So I started my stopwatch right about the time that they passed that tree that has a 6 on it.
Oh, I'll show you that one now. Just showing road conditions currently, how much more has been pulled out. And that white sign right there has the 6.
Yep. I'm not going to be perfect, obviously. I'm just trying to hit a button approximately when I see them hit a point, but you can, if it's several seconds difference, you'll be able to tell. Harder to catch tenths, obviously.
Mark, did you have something to add there?
Our director of the video feed is back at base, over by where the podium is. All right, 1 minute 40 seconds. Should hear Andy approaching. 15 seconds to go. Uh-oh. Not hearing it. 1 minute 52.
Well, it's going to be close, but a little behind, I think.
Yeah, he's behind. Several seconds. So my rough guess, based on just using a stopwatch, we're at 5.3 miles in, so about 5.6 seconds slower than Mark Piatkowski at this point. So that's about a second per mile that we have. Mark Piatkowski is pulling a lead ahead of Andy Miller. This is actually Mark's first time ever doing the Olympus Rally, so he has not competed here before. So it's interesting to see that even the local knowledge that Andy Miller has not quite been the benefit. But he's that chatty. He's been running that car for a long time. I wonder if things are starting to age out a little bit. I mean, they've always been quick though versus the other regionals. It's nice to see that him and Mark really battling it out here. So yeah, we're 2 minutes per car now. Obviously going to be a little bit longer than 2 minutes because as the order goes. So we should see Roberto Iglesias. Not yet. Or some of them, Samsonis. I was wrong. That is Matt Dickinson. Matt Dickinson in the Chimera, as he likes to call the car. It's a BRZ, but it's actually got the four-wheel drive system out of the newer Subaru WRXs. It's running that drivetrain. All right, so next up should be Roberto Iglesias. A little bit more straight. There you go. Trying to make sure we got a nice level camera here. Oh, we got this little bit of a gap. Want to mention, of course, one of our other sponsors. We mentioned Samsonis earlier. We've got, of course, Dirtfish is one of our sponsors, the presenting sponsor. Of course, Kubota Tractor is the main sponsor of the event sponsor themselves. Always had great to have good support of them, and got all the tractors out front for our podium for that one. Obviously, you need lots of tractors to make sure that we regrade these roads nice and smooth after the rally is over. And I'd like to also thank Taylor Station. If you need to get something to eat and after the rally, go in that 50-mile-an-hour zone just south of Shelton here. There's in that area, it's called Taylor Station. There's a Taylor Station restaurant lounge. We talked to the owner there, Steph, and they have amazing food there. Great for both breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Go check them out. They're the supporter of our spectator area that we had on Wildcat, and just a great supporter of this event. And great food too. Roberto Iglesias and Artie Mantopoulos and the A3 car there. Neat to see Roberto after he competed a long time in limited two-wheel drive and Fiesta ST to stepping it up to now a four-wheel drive car.
I love that little Fiesta ST Lobo. It's a good car.
It was a good car. No, he really dominated in that thing when he didn't blow an axle.
Yeah.
He definitely had a couple issues with that. One thing, we intentionally chose this side of the road to be on so we can see the good side of the car, because last night maybe they had a little bit of an off on the co-driver side. Maybe. I'm not implying anything. Could have been a few wrinkles. But they did drive it back to, once it got yanked out, they drove it back to service. It wasn't that bad. Had to straighten out a few things, but actually it wasn't all that bad at all. So, but I think it was mostly just it tapped a tree as they it had an off, and I think it wrinkled the door a little bit, so it was hard to open the door. But yeah, it actually looked pretty good. So.
Thank you also to Morgan 3D Printing for being
Of
our
course.
streaming sponsor. What a great streaming experience we've got this year. Even just trying out new things. It's been great.
Yeah. No, Mark Morgan, who's the man behind the scenes you don't see. Matt Nikkinen. So what you didn't see there, and again, we're just on the good side of the cars from here, is because the other side was a little hot yesterday. On the Dayton stage, the first running, that car literally had flames coming out the back. It actually was on our live stream. If you go back and watch the one from the Dayton stage that Mark was at, it had something going on with I guess the exhaust maybe caught some of the bodywork on fire or something. I'm not sure what it was, but they were burning.
I meant to tell you, Mark, I got a screenshot of you and Luke from that, and it makes a really cool album cover.
Yeah, Mark had his son Luke helping with the camera work there.
That's awesome. I've got the picture.
Fantastic. Goes Cameron Golson. He's currently third in the limited four-wheel drive national. Next up should be Michael Cooper.
Let's go, Mike Hoop, and those loud Lexuses.
Lexus. So many Lexus.
Lexi?
We
I don't
still
know.
haven't decided whether it's
Somebody,
Lexus or Lexus.
somebody tell us.
I don't know what the official is.
What's a group of VQs called? I don't know. Oh, I got it. It's a brass choir.
It's a choir of Lexuses.
Something with trombones. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. They don't get that low. They're a higher note than trombones do, I would say, right? I think we need to match those up with a higher instrument. You are our music major, so when you hear Hooper go by, what is the instrument that comes to mind?
Yeah, we'll have to
music
do that.
man.
Yeah, we'll have to test that.
It's all about the 6 cylinders, whether it's the V6 in that or the straight 6 in the BMW of Matt Nikkonen. I mean, I don't know what I like better. They're just both awesome. And then the flat 6s that we had with Kwiatkowski and Andy Miller. I mean, I can't pick a best, but 6 cylinders are the thing. See, I'm a music lover of engine music. Does that count?
I think it does. If you like Philip Glass, you probably would like engine sounds.
All right, let's see where we're at here. Gosh, we already got the Deckerville stage is also already running. So let's kind of look at some of the stage times from this one, though. How did it end up with our friends with Andy Miller and Kwiatkowski? Here we go. So these two here, we had a stage time about 7 seconds slower for
That seemed
Andy
quick.
Miller.
That seemed like a not very long gap.
Like Richo's finally getting that car to work how he wanted it. Yes, that was definitely less than 2-minute gap. We'll have to see who's been getting the stage wins there between Richo and Michael Hooper. You know, Richo used to run a rented Hooper car. Alexis. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, he started out in the limited 2-wheel drive in one of the IS 250s, right? So now he stepped up into the Nordic Motorsports built just beast of a machine. The same car that Leah Block actually ran when she went for a class win in the open 2-wheel drive.
Oh, it's that one.
Yes.
My daughter has that on her wall.
So yes, it's that car.
Looking for a car to buy my daughter to learn manual on, and she really wants one.
I mean,
Maybe an FRS. I don't know.
I was just saying a BRZ would be a good choice.
Yeah.
Or well, they don't make the FRS anymore. It's a GT86.
That's why I can afford it.
Yeah, get the older one. Fair point. Fair point.
This is beater with the heater time.
How good are the clutches in those cars?
Right.
The question, right?
Right.
Nolan Abel and his first time in one of these R5 RC2 class cars. It's an older version of the Rally 2.
Speaking of engine sounds, can we just put that anti-leg straight into my veins?
Seeing just yeah, how much faster the Mark and Andy are versus Cameron Golson. As you can tell, just how much more they're pushing. Cameron finished the stage in 11:16.1, whereas the others were at 10:18 and 10:25. So quite a big speed difference there. Matt Dickinson did a good time, 10:26.1. Getting that car figured out. So what I really want to see is where do we have, let's see, Hooper. And when he gets to the end there, I want to see what time is for Richo there. Similar class of car. Nope, haven't gotten to the end of it yet. So, next up. That's Andriy Shevchenko. And with Dylan Hooker sitting next to him, we talked to him for a little bit at Park Expo. English is, of course, a second language for him. He's from Ukraine, and his first time coming out here. So he didn't talk a whole lot, but he said he's definitely enjoying this rally and being able to come out to compete here. And get more of that European influence. It's fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah. Love it.
What other times I got coming in here? A couple more. Reach show. Did this time come in? It did. The Super's time in. Hooper, where are you located on my list? There we go, down here. Ooh, it's not showing yet. Hopefully it's just a dead spot. Matt Nikkinen, and also in the open two-wheel drive, he did an 11:04. We have Richo did it in 11:07.9. So Matt Nikkinen so far, it looks like fastest in the open two-wheel drives. In the nationals, of course. See how some of our regionals do. Those are the Rally 4 cars. So they're open two-wheel drive. They're a front-wheel drive. The Rally 4s that are factory FIA, homologated cars. Part of the Stellantis program that's going on. So Stellantis backed. yeah. No, other side of the camera.
Forgot.
Other side. I mean, if you want to be on camera, I mean,
I really do.
But that was William Tung that went by with Michael Shevchik sitting alongside. That's interesting because looks like on the start list, the other person in the same kind of car was supposed to actually right before him, Daniel Shalev, and I don't think I saw him go by. It's where they said Tung on it. You look at our list of active cars on stage here. I don't see the other Peugeot on here. So yes, this tongue that's on stage. Not see Shalev, but he also has a bunch of red lists, so I'm not sure if he started the day today. Let's see.
I'm hearing that Peugeot in the distance, and I think it's a French horn.
It's so low
Yeah.
frequency and guttural, right?
Yeah.
It's like I kept waiting for the RPMs to go up, and they don't. That's Henry Tabor, son of Mark Tabor. So Henry's in the national limited two-wheel drive, but had an off yesterday, dropping him down the order a little bit. But in the start order, he's definitely pretty high up because the kid is quick.
Very fast.
When he isn't racing rally cars, he's raced in Porsche Cup cars. He's done what was the program that he's in that he was where he unfortunately is Formula Ford, I think was, where he unfortunately had the really big crash, but has healed up from that. But very quick kid. Grew up literally the whole family does rallying. 3 generations. He's part of that 3rd generation. His sister Madeline that we talked about previously, and him, both very capable drivers. Sorry about 50. You're fine. Oh, at the 5-minute gap for the regionals, I guess I'll have to go get it because I didn't bring with me.
Those Tabors are the nicest people, too.
Yeah, I had a great talk with Vivian at the Park Expose yesterday. Boy, he really liked talking about rallying. It was fantastic. I asked him, it's like, well, growing up in Europe, where sometimes people have rallying just kind of in their own backyard. And, well, sure enough, Donegal is where he grew up. And the Irish rally was always, it was one of the WRC events at one point. So Rally of Ireland, was it, or something like that? But now Donegal Rally, it's had several names. But every weekend there's a rally going on in Ireland. Every single weekend. It is so just consistent there. And he remembers as a kid, seeing the park exposés and seeing the cars, and he never thought he could do it. But then he had moved to Vermont in the United States. Well, if there ever was a rally culture in America, that's where Vermont Sports Car, where all the Subarus are built. And he got that Orica built R4. So that is a FIA homologated kit that can make that Mitsubishi Mirage into a 4-wheel drive rally car that meets the RC2 class. So you don't have to go for the super expensive, Rally 2s, which are kind of further development of the R5. Some of the different regions around the world have tried to find something a little bit more affordable. And so these kits have come around that use a drivetrain that's common amongst all of them, whether it looks like a Skoda, whether it looks like, in this case, the Mitsubishi, whether it looks like a Ford. They use a common drivetrain and engine. And so that makes it just a lot easier to maintain. Not quite as fast as the Rally 2s, but close. Schafer and Sophie McKee. And their Rally 3 car. Love the new livery they have on it for this year. Boy, she called it on the weather. I had no idea it was going to be like this.
Maybe she's got a second act in weather forecasting.
Yeah, there you go. All right, I'm going to try and look up those times of Cooper versus... Did Cooper's time ever show up as finishing? So there's Richo Healy and Michael Cooper. There we go. So Cooper finished with a time of 11 minutes, 44.9 seconds. And Richo, 11 minutes, 11.7. Wow. Is it really that big? Oh my gosh. Richo's definitely on it. I don't know if Hooper's nursing an issue, but that is a huge 30-second difference, or 40-second difference, almost, between the two. For just the one stage. Razak. That's Mikola. I'm going to probably destroy this, and I apologize. Car 313. Mikola Piskilevit. Sorry. Oh, wow. That is a tough one. Pisklivit. Oh, my gosh. Just totally destroying names today.
You're on your own on that one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Something Greek.
I believe it's Pisklivits.
Yeah.
Or Pisklivits is, I guess, the best pronunciation I can think of.
Have to meet.
So they're also in that four-wheel drive class, one of the standard motorsports cars. Standard is an arrive and drive program that's newer to the series. You know, we've had Stephen Red racing. Our friends at Element Motorsports, they're in this region, and you know some of the others that go across the country. So Standard is a newer one that's been put together by. I'm losing names. Who was it? I was just talking about him yesterday too. Who had put together the Standard Motorsports stuff? Well, there we go. I've stumped myself. I can look that separately. Yeah. Ryan Booth. There we go. Gosh, why did it take me so long? Got to know Ryan pretty well over the years. And so Ryan Booth, former competitor, competed nationally, started out, and he was doing an open two-wheel drive with Rhiannon Gelsomino as co-driver for a long time. Then he also got into the faster cars and had his good friend, Nick, I think it was, that was his co-driver. Mark. Smooth around that corner. Leading the limited two-wheel drive class in national. Last I looked. So that's Dad. So you saw the two kids go by, Henry and Madeline. We got this little gap here. Want to make sure that we mention some of our other sponsors of this rally. We really can't put these events on without the help of all of our sponsors. So a big thank you to, well, we'll see him later, Eric Zabala of State Farm and Toyota of Olympia. That park expose that we had at Toyota of Olympia was such a big showing of just people, just a throng of people. A friend of mine, we were talking to, Matt Kalish, he was saying that I've never been in a traffic jam to come to a park expose for a rally before. And that's how many people were coming out to that. So huge thank you to Toyota of Olympia for putting that on. I think they know now that we need a bigger space next time.
Yeah.
Because that was a throng of people coming out to see all the cars.
Next time, the Tacoma Dome.
Yes. We'll hopefully see later. We saw the car smoking a little bit yesterday, but Garrett from Farmers Insurance. So we kind of got to the battle of the insurance companies going on here with Eric Zabala and Garrett from Farmers, which is awesome. Beanbags Coffee. You need a little pick me up. Make sure you run by Beanbags Coffee. These are long days that we're out here, so we're definitely going to need a little pick me up ourselves later this afternoon. And of course, Stephen Red Racing. You've seen a lot of the cars coming through here with Stephen Red on them. Great Arrive and Drive program. You want to get into rallying? Talk to those guys. The smell of race gas. You can really smell it on that one.
Yeah.
Hey, cleaner burning than regular fuel. Just saying. We're all about the environment here. That was Eliza Coleman. You guys ever look up her on the internet, you'll find out that she's actually a stunt coordinator. Done all kinds of stuff for Hollywood. She's helped out with Gymkhana videos and all the stunt coordination they do with all the crazy stuff they do for that. Ooh, now I'm just getting a Sunday start order was updated. Uh-oh. I was just going off one start order list. Now we've changed it again. I'm guessing it might be for the regionals that they adjusted it. And they might have actually just maybe pulled out some of the ones that were a DNF. So what they normally do is they put out the start order actually the night before, assuming that any of the ones that are a DNF, they maybe fix their car. They haven't turned in necessarily the rally safe unit and, said, yeah, we're done. So they put it out the night before, just kind of assuming that those cars will return. And then later on in the morning, as they go to check in, get ready to go head out for the MTC to go to the first stage, then they know which ones are truly starting. But it's best to know a best case scenario, instead of saying worst case scenario, best case scenario of all the competitors, most of the competitors returning. So I'm guessing this list is just tightened up a little bit with those that did not return. So that was Ryan McGrath and Glenn Ray in the Lexus IS 250. That is a limited two-wheel drive car. But as you can tell, it ain't slow. Not quite the oomph of Hooper's machine, but with the 350, but still a great car. That's actually the same platform that Richo Healy used to run. And he was running in limited too. Want to do a shout out to some of our other supporters here. Northwest Timber Ridge Homes. You're looking for a home in the area. This beautiful mountainous area that we have here in the Pacific Northwest. Maybe you check out Timber Ridge Homes. Get yourself a piece of property and have them build you up something nice. Of course, always our good friends, Cowbell Rally, Ed Flazig, the Flazig family. Cowbell Rally is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Always a huge supporter here. We always want more cowbell.
Mm-hmm. And flamingos.
And flamingos, yes. Actually, speaking of that, on our way here, when we were going through the Coonley stage, we didn't see flamingos, but we saw balloons. So what?
Pink, and gold.
Pink and gold. They actually had some gold letters that were lined up that were inflated that said "Send It," and they're all in line to hopefully, I believe, catch gravel spray to pop the balloons. So I thought that was a clever thing since the flamingo bowling is a thing. So it's great to see Stefan Kravitz and Bo Kravitz back out. That was the car, 442, that stopped right in front of us with a broken axle right after the spectator. So Bo had to run out and get the triangles out and make sure other cars knew that they were stopped on the side of the road. They could not get the car running and had to just sit there. Nawatzel claiming yet another victim. We have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars before we get to a 5-minute break that we're going to be doing before the regional start. So that again just kind of helps for that regrouping between the different. Because we're having the regionals start not mixed in with the nationals, you're going to have some higher speed regionals that would be catching up to the slowest of the nationals, right? So we don't want cars catching each other on stage. So that's why they got that 5-minute gap. So actually we should see, we got to be careful because we might not hear it coming. Next up should be the little mini with David Quillen and Michael Myers in the fully factory backed BMW backed Mini Cooper.
Sounds like a recce car.
That is literally the quietest rally car I have ever heard in my life.
Ever.
And it's turbocharged.
Ever.
It's an open 2-wheel drive because of the turbo. I never have I not heard a car so much. Well, it's cool if you can actually hear them, slinging gravel more.
Yeah.
Because you can't hear the car, the engine sounds. Although I still prefer the engine sound. Back to the earlier comment about 6 cylinders.
Yeah.
6-cylinder music. And one thing you'll definitely see when you see. So trying to figure out what are the next cars. So we got next car should be that we will see is number 99, Sandy Liversidge. In the Mazda Speed 3, followed by Karen Jankowski. Then Louis Pericarpi. He's also in a Mini. That's the Countryman. And then we got John Barnett is the last of our national competitors. Thank you. I think we've only had one missing car so far, and that was Shalev. At least from the previous start order I had. Daniel Shalev, car number 23, car number 860. And that's right. I remember them saying that, I remember hearing that it was out yesterday. So he must not have turned in their rally safe unit yet. Was hoping to get back out. Two-wheel drive. Plaza Speed 3. Now you see a bunch of awesome videos that'll come out after this rally. And a lot of those you'll see of a lot of these competitors is courtesy of Melee Enterprises. Melee has a media team that's out here in force with everything from some FPV drones to, obviously a bunch of cameras that are out there, remote cameras, doing still photography, doing video work. They do stuff integrated with a bunch of teams. They are just one of the highest level of professional media teams that we have out here in following rally. Make sure you check out Melee Enterprises. Look up Melee Design Firm if you're. They do a bunch of the battery boxes for cars. Heck, if you're out here as a volunteer and your car's always rattling around on gravel roads, maybe look maybe something to protect your battery because that heavy thing is moving around so much.
Yeah, secure your battery.
Yeah, exactly. Get one of those Melee Design Firm battery boxes. They bolt right in, and it's just a nice hardened case to put your battery in. And then, of course, Melee Media, they're the ones out here catching all that media footage.
Great quality all around.
So you're struggling the grip just a little bit in that corner. Seesaw on the wheel just a little bit. But nice to see Karen Jankowski getting faster and faster in that SRT. Definitely moving up the order. She's part of Jankowski Motorsports. Her and her husband Don also manage that team, and they also have run cars for some junior drivers and whatnot that have gotten into the sport. With all their years of experience of being around rallying, there's so much goes into the logistics and everything of managing a rally team beyond just working on the car and getting the parts and all that stuff. It's coordinating, getting to events, and all the things that you need to be ready for it. Earlier we were talking about if you want a nice property out here to build up one of those homes with Northwest Timber Ridge Homes. We've also got one of our supporters here, Ryan Armstrong Realty. He's a local realtor in the area. Ryan's been always a big fan of rallying, and he's also helping support the event. So find yourself a nice piece of property. I will say one of our safety delegates actually moved recently to this area. He's actually just several miles away, found a nice piece of property to set down and build a house. He wanted to be closer to rally stuff in retirement, and so that's where he built a home out there. And so, someone like Ryan Armstrong can help you find one of those properties that's in this mecca of rallying that's in the Pacific Northwest.
We must be at the 5-minute break.
Nope, not yet.
Sounds pretty quiet.
It does seem kind of quiet because there's supposed to be a couple more, anyways, that I saw on the start list.
Should be. Oh, it must be the mini then.
The other mini. That's actually what's supposed to be next.
Other mini.
We should have Louis Pericarpi and John Barnett. Are we at the 5-minute gap? We are?
Yeah, we're in the gap.
Okay. Can you turn the camera that way?
Yeah. Yeah.
I for one, I'm really happy you guys brought that up. It's 5, 6, 7, and there actually is a 5, 6, 7. Okay. We do have 3 cars on track right now. Okay.
Mike, did you catch who that was?
The Barnett was still on course.
Yeah.
So John Barnett, that is the last car. Now we are at our 5-minute gap.
Great.
I think 5-minute gap is played behind us. Not quite here yet. Do you remember the sunscreen in the car? Oh my.
Toasty yesterday. Remember to bring sunscreen on course, everyone.
Thought I sprayed some on before I came over here. Have the spray. If not, you can run to my car.
265 security time. Then you'll see a break for 5 minutes.
Thank you.
5 additional minutes.
Creamer and everything. You got yours all your coffee all dialed in there. Oh, we have another car coming. Oh, here's the Mini. Not as good as Aaron with this. He set this up a little tighter than I was used to. Those Minis sneak up on you.
They do.
Hey, you got this, the collar, or is it this? You got to set up where the, oh, it's this. That's where the, yeah, it's like a catch right here. I don't know if it's this or this. Something's kind of catchy. You're gonna need to raise it up just a hair. There. Also, could have gotten just a bunch of dust and dirt in the darn thing. Let's see. Sorry for making you guys a little motion sick. I'm just trying to find where the stuck spot on this thing is. That's for tilt. I guess it adjusts for the side to side a bit too. It's just kind of chunky in that spot. You know what we might do? Because smooth here to here,
And then a little gritty or something.
and then grittier over there when it gets over by the where the thing lifts it, elevates it. We just might need to just turn it so the whole thing is facing more this way, and then we got the smooth pan part. So sorry, folks. I'm going to adjust the tripod to a different direction. Then I'm gonna have to, of course, readjust the length of things. But the idea is we get a smooth pan instead of one that's sticky. Smooth from here around to oh yeah, that's a heck of a lot smoother. Why didn't I notice that earlier? Let's see. So there's that's in place. How's the levelness of this? Need to come down a little bit over here. Okay, let's see how much smoother I can be now. That over to that, and it's smooth as butter. And then that's what tightens it. Okay, so that's why you're messing with that adjuster. You're trying to figure out what the problem was. There. Now it's nice and smooth. Okay, sorry, folks.
That's perfect.
Didn't mean to make you see too much emotion. Like, what is all that? And we do have it angled down slightly intentionally because we want to see the cars as they kind of hit that apex right there as they come around. So, anyhow. There's the entrance to the car. There. Back to normal-ish. Technical term. I like a good normal-ish.
Every morning.
And suddenly just limbs falling off of a tree.
Not quite a widowmaker, but that was a big branch.
All right. It's our first of our regionals, I think. Should be Josh Gearman. Again, what we had from him message last night was that last minute engine swap. Now, I wish I could go to my mechanic and say, I need a quick engine change. And it happens. Right, exactly. That just goes to show you the determination, the skill of all of these mechanics that that work with these rally teams. Josh himself, I'm sure, was doing some of that work, after coming into service, along with his crew, and them just wrenching on it just super fast. It's just a hell of a team.
Yeah. Sounds good too for having a new engine.
Yeah. I mean, it should. It's a new engine.
Should sound good.
Well, we got big backfires on our way. I'm wondering if that would be Phil Clark. Guess who's second on the road? Phil Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Is he part of Cowbell? He used to be. Yeah, they did. They
won the regional.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Phil Clark and Johnny Vinti. They're limited 4-wheel drive. All the backfires? Somebody maybe needs to fix up with that exhaust.
Felt those in my chest.
Yesterday, I was thinking, oh, somebody's out doing target practice out in the woods somewhere. Oh, wait, no.
Just Phil.
That's just Phil.
Just Phil.
Look at those regional overall standings now. And Phil should be up in that order a bit because I don't believe they've had any issues that I've seen. Here's the handy thing, I can tell. one thing I really enjoy about using the Sneak Attack Rally website is you can go to show options. One of those options you can say is, hey, let's just show the regionals and ignore all the nationals temporarily. So yes, leading overall with Josh Gearman. Second is Trenton Corey and Matt Mitchell in their NA four-wheel drive car. Yeah. Let's see, where is Phil Clark? There we go. He's a ways down there. He did a really quick time in the previous stage of 6:30.2.
Wow.
Which was actually faster than Josh Gearman in the previous stage. So, like, significantly. That's crazy. Phil's really on it. No, Phil, him and Ed Flasig used to be his co-driver, part of Cowbell Rally, and they always did a really good performance together as a team. There was Trenton Corey. He was really diving it into the corner there, wasn't he? He was really keeping on that throttle all the way through. Actually, as I was coming out of the hotel, I happened to run into his dad. I saw a guy wearing an ARA hat, and I'm like, oh, he looks like he's involved with the rally somehow. I always like to introduce myself. You know, hi there, I'm Mike Shaw. Who are you? And turns out that's Trenton Corey's dad. Next up, we should see Michael Hahn. Michael Hahn, along with Colin Category, is his co-driver. Great to see Michael Hahn back on pace. You know, he's what a year without competing after his big accident on Oregon Trail. Built a new car, had to get the car sorted. Kind of moved him down the list as far as you know, in the speed factors. So he's kind of relative to the mid pack for a bit, and we know he's a fast driver. And sure enough, now that that car's sorted, he's what, fourth on the road now? When he goes by? Definitely earned that. Definitely momentum driving that car. I didn't see him really dive on the brakes so much. It's just kind of a lift, turn, and then back on the throttle.
Wind's picking up a little bit.
Well, he did say he has a new brake system in that car. That was one of the things that they had issues with last year. And so with turn in there, but should get this soon. He's in that cross track, the Rocket Rally built. Cross track rally car. Used to be one of those that was in the H6 swaps, I believe, of the NA 4-wheel drives. And now he's got this really proper built cross track. Not that the H6 cars aren't proper built, but it's something done by a shop, that builds rally cars versus, doing it yourself kind of thing. Yeah, I think I was talking to him, and he's like, he's got to step up to what that car can do. It's a really big learning process. Going from, something that you have to really be on the throttle a lot to get any of the power out of it to something like that. So it got so much power, and got to regulate things a little bit different and make yourself adapt to things coming a little quicker at you. Next up, we should see Julian Sabel. He's in a Rally 4 car. This is a rider. For those who don't realize that Rally 4 is the open 2-wheel drive. It used to be called an R2 back in the day. The FIAs tried to make things simplified by having, they're always called a Rally 1, Rally 1 is called WRC, Rally 2, which is what were called R5 cars before, Rally 3, which is the 4-wheel drive but narrower chassis, like the Fiestas, like Madeline Tabor's in, and what the Aoife Raptory's in. Then you got Rally 4, which is the 2-wheel drive car. Same chassis as you have for the Rally 3, but it's 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, still sequential gearbox and all that stuff. And then you have the Rally 5, which I don't think we've had any Rally 5s over here. But the Rally 5 is basically the closest to a stock 2-wheel drive that you would have. That's the FIA homologated. You'll find some of those on the tarmac rallies, stuff like that you see over in Europe and whatnot. And a few on some of the gravel rallies, I think. But yeah, it really has that whole step up from the Rally 5 up to the Rally 1s. See him doing a little left foot braking up there as he was coming up through that ridge along there.
And this is his first event in this car, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I think he just got it.
Yeah, so I mean,
Dialing things in.
R2 before, but that's the older one. This is just so much more advanced.
Right.
Yesterday he was saying that he was really struggling back when he did Wildcat, when we talked to him yesterday. The ups and downs, especially the hill climbing in that car, it's just got so much torque, it'll just spin the tires. So you got to just be really careful with what gear you're in and how you put your foot down. It'll just like spin going up. Actually, that's actually one of the challenges they'll have on the next stage of Deckerville, because it starts on an uphill climb.
Right off the bat.
Sometimes a competitor will start in second gear, something like that. Yeah, so Julian, he is leading the open wheel drive class currently. And next up, we have Ryan. Up next. Let's find out who. Yes, Ryan Haynes and Rebecca Rustin. W. Ryan came from circuit racing and drifting and all that stuff. And met Rebecca, who's been, of course, part of our Rallying for Forever as an organizer. She's been chair. She's the head of our Oregon Rally group, the nonprofit that does And she's done drifting and driving and co-driving everything from TSDs to these state rallies. Ryan ended up getting interested in the state rally stuff and built that awesome BMW. And it's great to see it out here competing. He's been just getting faster and faster in that thing. Rebecca said they made just a big change in their suspension setup, just softened it up, and just that little bit of a change has made the car just so much more comfortable to drive on these fast stages. A little bit, maybe you could feel the weight transfer more,
Right.
Feel more comfortable going over some of the bigger potholes and rocks and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, actually, I want to look at in that regional Open 2. Well, the next stage has already started, so not sure if I'm going to be able to see where they sit behind. Ooh, is Ryan ahead of them? Possibly. Yeah, Gabe Jacobson on it. Great to see him out here. Gabe last rally.build. Great place for getting the car parts and stuff you might need for maintaining your rally vehicle. They actually came over here with a tire truck, a trailer that has all the stuff to be able to mount tires and whatnot. So working for Pirelli with Pirelli to do all that stuff. So they're doing massive tire fittings. And you should have seen the stack of tires that we saw for Toyota, for TRG. There's so many tires. They knew what they were going to go through. But yeah, they're doing lots of repair work too. Recce was not friendly to Recce car tires, doing lots of repairs there.
I was gonna say, I think they made most of the repairs right after Recce. I heard pretty brutal.
It was pretty brutal. But Gabe and his buddy there with the Rally Uphill, they've been huge supporters of rallying, and it's great to have them come all the way out here from the Midwest. I've mostly seen them at like LSBR or 100 Acre or one of the other Midwest events there, Ojibwe. So great to see them come all the way out here. It's really interesting the different flavors that you get of roads and regions across America with rallying.
Yes.
It's places you wouldn't think to go visit, right? There's so many just kind of flyover areas that rallying really gets into those small communities.
Like Doofer. That was one of my favorite things when I went and did a Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
I got to explore a town I'd never seen before. It was absolutely gorgeous. The town was out in full force for the rally. And what an experience. What a great time.
Scott and Elizabeth Crouch. Their limited four-wheel drive Subaru. Definitely looked like he was on it.
Yeah, showing some good pace there. Maybe they knew the live stream spot was right here.
Maybe they do. Like ahead of the stage, if they get like a cell signal, like, ooh, that's where the live stream is. We have to push it right through that spot.
Right through there.
That's it. We need to actually go live early, just so they know where we're
You
at.
should let them know, right?
Yeah.
Be like, just so you know, instruction 15.
Or put out a bulletin. To work with the clerk, of course. Can you put out a bulletin and say live streaming is at this spot, instruction 15, and just so they all know to show off.
Yeah. If you want to make a name for yourself.
But we want a good name.
Yeah, not infamous.
Famous, not infamous. Well, next up, one of our local favorites, chief instructor out at Dirtfish, rebuilding his old Saab. I thought he had updated. When I first, I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be a Saab that's been, got maybe a different engine in it, just making it stronger. better and all that stuff. Nope. What SCH? I knew that. I don't know why I said it wrong. Those little stops were the thing back in the day. And Nate getting that car back on the road, he said, what's like, I think he said it was like 15 years since that thing's seen a rally. And
Looks
so,
great though.
Obviously, it still runs great too.
Looks and sounds great.
You know, one of our many historic rallies, again, 40th anniversary of the Olympus rallies era of Group B. So we're thinking history here, and bringing some of those historic rally cars out is always good fun.
Mix of old and new history. This is great.
Yeah, I thought he maybe updated it with a bunch of modern parts or something like that. You know, it's like, oh, if you're going to rebuild this thing, maybe make it stronger, you know, some newer standards. Obviously, you had to probably update the cage to meet the new standards. But no, he made it rally ready and, you know, obviously just made it functional. But
I didn't catch who that was, Mike.
I didn't either. I thought. Holy, hold on a second. Yeah, because one second. He's still talking.
Yes.
That's awesome. He's not all the time. He's junk.
Guess I'll get Aaron Squirt to do that next time. He's got a nice camera.
It was supposed to be Jeffrey Olmsted, but that's not Jeff Olmsted's car.
No.
So over. All right. Maybe I messed up on. We have the co-driver's name on the door and the driver's name.
So you pulled a meet.
I've done that before.
Yeah,
You gotta always be careful when you're looking at the co-driver side.
Right.
Their name's on top,
Yeah,
not the driver.
I do that all
They
the time.
swap it. So if we're on the other side of the road, it's even harder. It's like, oh wait, no, look at the bottom name. Look at the bottom name.
Yep.
Not Johnny Summers. Okay.
Do I look like that dinosaur from Jurassic Park?
Many bearded wonders of rallying out here. You know, one thing about Jeff is he's just consistent.
Yeah.
He's always up there competing with the rest of the NA4 guys. He doesn't have the H6 swap, but his consistency always tends to put him in threat for a podium. Anybody else messes up, he ends up really being right up there because he doesn't have the power of the H6 swaps, but he has the consistency and just consistent speed without overdoing it. I'm going to load yesterday's start list because maybe I can figure out what the heck that was for this. It's going to drive me nuts. Travis Coley, there we go. That was number 927. Travis Coley and Chad Holloway. They are not on the start list. Somebody screwed up. So there we go. That's who was before we saw I just find them on the start list. They had them like down at 40. No wonder they overall. So actually, no, yeah, he should have started a lot earlier. That's why so he should have started before Gabe Jacobson on the list. That's where I missed it. Okay. So Lucas Chalcroft just went. Sorry, yeah, Lucas Chalcroft and Cody Crawford just went by in the VW Golf. Not slow in their limited two-wheel drive car there. You know, when I used to see that car, I used to think all sound and fury signifying nothing, but now it's all sound and fury, look out. They're quick. It's great to see over the years these drivers and how they develop themselves and the cars to just get that much quicker all the time. And he might actually be leading limited two-wheel drive in the regionals. It does appear so. Limited two-wheel driver leader. Yep. Wow. Jeff Castro, Chris Miller. He had a big time penalty. 501c rallying. Good guys. And one of our sponsors. So thank you, 501c. He had an issue with the time control and was trying to just do a quick something, and you're not allowed to work on your car within a time control.
Pacific Northwest guys can't do that.
Oh, Dean. It wasn't that they were light to a time control. But, you know, that car has, you know, it's a brand new build concept. They shook it down at Wild West, and, you know, it performed admirably. But they've done that 2.4 FA motor swap that's in the newer Subarus, right? Not turbo, but it's just the FA 2.4 liter. And put that instead of the 2 liter that's normally in the BRZ. So kind of like doing the H6 swap in concept. He had to last minute, just as they were about to load it onto the car. He was telling us at Park Expose, their ECU went out. They had to do a last minute go get another ECU. Huge thanks to the folks at Dirtfish. We're able to help them obtain one and get one flashed. He went to his guy to get that reprogrammed, and you know, got that in the car and got them working again just before they had to come out here. But it meant they missed a whole bunch of wrecking. So they they said it 2 or 3 stages in. Granted, there's stages they know before, but as you change your platform of your car to something that's more powerful, a little faster, you need to adjust your stage notes to match.
Yeah, relearn.
So that's going to be a challenge. Or sometimes they change our stages, right? The starts and the finishes maybe in different spots. They may out here at Green Diamond. There's so many different crossroads and stuff. They can really kind of change things up quite a bit. So Ben Burt, Noah Smith. Let me tell you, Ben, I remember when he was kind of first starting, and it did not take him long to become quick as a bunny. He's one that's really been moving up that speed factor. Great to see him out here. I think he said he was out for a year or two, and now he's back, and hasn't slowed down much, as you can tell. Doesn't seem slow at all. We're really kind of getting into that area where there's a lot of cars in a similar speed factor. They might be different types of cars. You may have an open 4-wheel drive car, an open 2-wheel drive car, an NA 4-wheel drive car. The regional guys and gals, they all, they know who they're close to just in speed factor, and they're just all kind of competing against each other, kind of in a group, not necessarily in car class.
Right.
Granted, for the podiums and stuff like that, that's simply all done by car class. But among themselves, they love having the competition that they can do just kind of internally among those speed factors. Next should be Sean Doro, Lewis. Right? Yeah. No, Doug Heritage with Rochambeau Racing. Love that name. Well, had a bit of a rock, paper, scissors moment and wanted to update his car. There's some things that, he was telling his park expose that, there's some older parts on this car that probably could stand to be just updated and replaced, just because they've had many rally miles on them. So one of the things they chased was change out with put in a new fuel pump. What did they have a problem with on the first day? Fuel pump. Put in the one that they had replaced, the old one. Everything's fine.
It ain't broke.
Yeah, well, but you want to, there's certain parts you want to replace before they break, right? So just some serious frustration there, especially with how faster Doug's been getting event after event. He's got Eric Frentress sitting next to him. His co-driver that he normally has, I think it's Sarah Nodak, I think is normally who sits next to him. And she's busy co-driving for somebody else, and so he ends up having Eric Frentress, who's also been a driver and has co-driven before. So, but it's always a little bit different getting used to a new co-driver. But he's synced up with Doug pretty quickly. So, got Aaron over here trying to shield himself from the sunshine. He's not wanting to have the lobster tan.
No.
Yeah,
I got a good start on it yesterday, though.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I did put on some lotion or some sunblock before park. Just didn't really last.
Car number 888, Charles Watson and Ben Triplett. You're in an open four-wheel drive car. So we did not see go by, at least I was supposed to be in the order, was number 397, Sean Doro has not gone by. Nor have we seen Matt Barnes yet. We'll have to see if they end up showing up or not, or if they end up, maybe they've had a look at the rally stage here. Grab the old tablet, the tablet of truth. See if they were running on the previous stage or not. Matt Barnes. I see it looks like it started the previous stage, and I do not have a finish time. So my guess is he is out on Coonley. Unless he's... Let's see here. Who's the other one I was talking about? We had some Sean Dora. Let's see what we have for Sean Dura. What's going on there? Sean, where are you, Sean? It looks like he is a did not start. So we'll not be seeing Sean out here. That's unfortunate. I don't know if that's some tire wear or if it's just fun to be sideways. That was Jonathan Myers, I believe, and Dylan McKenna. Number 220. Yeah, it did look like they were a lot more kind of sideways coming through that fast sweeper over there. Another car was coming, but it was just the trees with the wind. It is nice to get this breeze, though. Keeps the dust out.
Yep.
And cools us off a little bit, because that sun is getting toasty.
I'm not complaining.
I put on a long sleeve undershirt just as, because it was cold this morning. It was 42.
Yeah.
We got up and got ready to head out here.
Beautiful morning drive, though.
Yes.
The area is really showing off.
Well, there was a rainbow you spotted kind of right over the service area, right?
Yeah, right over service area. Saw a rainbow. No pot of gold, though.
I mean, the service park is pot of gold. Look at all this cars.
Good point.
Ryan Bofio, car number 937. With Stephen Winnett sitting at his side. In the open four-wheel drive class. Should have, at least based on my start order, should have started maybe earlier, but all of these cars are so close in their speed factor in this kind of group. I missed the car number on that one. Is that?
Adam? Adam?
Yeah, come on. Adam! No, he's still looking at something. That's all right. We'll figure it out. Got the livery, but I was looking down at my phone like, oh, I missed the car.
Did you catch the car number on that?
What?
Did you catch that car number?
That one?
Yeah.
I've been once.
Should have been 355.
355. Oh, so it's Johnny Summers and Celine Pepperdine. Okay. So again, this is another one that was a little bit higher. Should have been up by Ben Burt from the look at the start order. So that's why it's a little confusing. It's like, wait a minute. I don't think that's the car that's supposed to be next. Got David Alston on his Audi has started. That's cool. Or had an issue at the rally sprint of Wild West earlier. Yeah, got into, gosh, was it just I think it was the very first stage. Yeah, got a mile and a half in and the axle came out of the rear. Oof. Yeah, something with the suspension broken, popped the axle out. So car with tires sticking outside, dragging it along because it's 4-wheel drive. You know, he was able to at least drag it into. There was a gravel pit there that we were using as a place to spot from, and Chris Miller and Christina Coates of 501c rallying, supporters of the Olympus rally. Actually, if you're into doing one of those like BRZ builds and you want to get some knowledge on how to do it right, look up Chris Miller and 501c. He's also the husband to Michelle Miller, co-driver for Richo Haley. Michelle Miller, one of the experienced Dirtfish instructors. All right, so let's see, where are we in the list? Just kind of looking at things. Total starters today is 89. We've had a few that didn't start, but the start order list says 89. Love Jeff Castro's car. That classic Toyota Corolla done up in the classic Celica livery. New livery for it for this year. He took last year off, and so awesome that what he did during his his year away from rallying, he actually volunteered the whole time to help out our events. So he helped out a bit up here, I think, with Olympus. He definitely helped out Oregon Trail, and was at the Mike Eagle Green as well. He ran the car today. Yeah, that was really cool. See, it's great to see competitors when, you know, they're taking a little step back maybe financially, maybe other reasons, they then turn around and help support the events. They've already got a lot of experience. They kind of know how the flow works, but they might not also know all the work we put in. And it's always a surprise, it seems, the first time I see a competitor that didn't start out as a volunteer, to see them come and volunteer, like, wow, you have to do all that? yeah, we do.
It's a lot of preparation.
Yep. Yeah, I would say all competitors should volunteer at least once for an event, just to understand just what all the workers go through and what all is involved. There's a lot of planning. Car number 454, Justin Serena Nelson. Got a Fitbit four-wheel drive car. Got that turbo in there. More power. All right, see what we're looking at for stage times here. I haven't really looked at that for a bit. Looking for regionals here. For this stage and the next one. Not showing a finish time yet for Ryan Haynes and Rebecca Rustin. That's interesting. Not liking that. Also haven't finished time yet of Albert Road. There's Alpha. That car looks well sorted. Yeah, whatever he had issues that caused that axle issue at Wild West, obviously not a problem now. I just wanted to throw in like some comparisons here. Nate Tennis did the stage in 12 minutes, 12.9 seconds. What does that put him in with the field? I mean, it's right up there with Jonathan Myers and Dylan McKenna, who were in a, they're in limited four-wheel drive. So not bad for an old Saab. Yeah. Naturally aspirated, just front-wheel drive little thing. Scrabbling for grip. I guess maybe being a Dirtfish instructor for like 15 years may have something to do with that. It's just a wee little bit of sweet time. What else do we have that's just kind of running with Albert Goad, showing as red. So maybe he had started earlier and didn't get to our point. I was going to take off my long sleeve undershirt to cool off, but at the same time, it's protecting me from the sun. So yeah, I think I'll just keep it on. Sage Van Tilburg and Julia Myers, or sorry, Julia Majors. That's in their BRZ. Actually, Sage was the one that was co-driving for David Alsbaugh when they had their issue with the axle. Sage being also a guy that can wrench on the, they jacked up the car and were like trying to see if they could fix it. Unfortunately, it wasn't possible. But they really just jumped right under the see what they can do. You need to be sometimes both mechanic though. Often we see the co-driver, maybe the one that has some of that experience, but in this case, yeah, couldn't fix it. But Sage, he was working on, beat it for a little bit because he was working on new build, and that's that BRZ. And we were mentioning 501C earlier with Chris Miller. Well, Sage in building his BRZ, he worked a lot with Chris Miller to help make sure that his build was solid and got a lot of good advice. The rally community, they all want to help each other, make sure they can compete equally on the stages. They all want the builds to be reliable. Alex Arteval and Chase Melcher. The classic turbo Volvo number 940, which happens to be a Volvo 940, of course. Nordic Motorsports built car. Not slow. A brick of a car, but turbo in it. Yeah. Turbo bricks, But we actually saw Nate Tennis drive that car a couple of times. He was at Oregon going up that Maryhill Loop Road, Tarmac Road. And he had just every corner he was more like a drift competition. He didn't care about his times anymore. He was just showing off for the crowd. And one of the most fun things I've ever seen. Yeah, I wish they had a camera facing his face. Normally I don't like the driver facing camera. For that, I would have wanted it because the grin and the laughter must have been from ear to ear.
It takes a lot of courage to go off on Maryhill too, because it's
Nate.
Yeah. When I drove that, the edge is right there.
Yeah, it is. But the corners are so nicely cambered in a lot of places, though, to help you kind of go through it. So
yes. It's beautiful, amazing road.
Yes, for those of you looking to spectate another rally after this one, the next up in the region is Oregon Trail. Michael and Angelica Miller in their Mitsubishi Galant 6R4. Four-wheel drive Mitsubishi Galant. You kind of equate that to the old Subaru Legacy in four-wheel drives, Eventually became the battle of the Evos versus the WRXs, right? Or the Imprezas later on. Those kind of the predecessor sedans. Larger chassis, but they were the thing. It's great to see some of those still out here. All right, so based on that, we are about 7 cars in out of probably 87 or something like that. So probably about 20 more cars. We got about 40 more minutes. gap here.
Garrett Brown is out. Pushed motor too hard.
One of our regional favorites, Garth Ankeny and Russ Crushhour, which we were talking to, I think it was Russ's mom, Marge, who's done the at Park Expose. Rally 1968,
Just incredible.
and she was driving. How cool is that?
That's got to be one of my favorite cars from this weekend. It's fun to see the GR rollout, but looking at that one, it's just
Yeah, the 81 Starlet. You know, him and Castro and people like Nate Tennis in the soft, they love the historic. They've been trying to create a historic class in regional rallying around here because there's so many people that do like running some of the older cars. Get some older, escorts. You've seen some of those come out every now and then, stuff like that. So hopefully we get to see more and more folks rebuilding some of those older cars. They're just fun. As long as and they don't have to be the same parts, right? So if I remember right, it's got a Ford rear end, if I remember right, in the back of that Starlet or something like that, because sturdier, right? It doesn't have to be exactly as it was originally. But yeah, Garth, one of the big supporters of rallying. He's out here to have fun. Says he doesn't look at stage times. Maybe looks at him, maybe comparing against himself in the previous run. I'm not sure, but he's always out here having a good time, big smile on his face. So the best food you'll ever find in the service park, him and his team. That would be the Rally Banana, aka the Mazdaroo. Jason Engel and Maribel Plaza scrunching themselves inside that car because there's not a lot of room in that thing. But if you notice, it did not sound like a rotary engine because it very much is not. They put a Subaru motor in that car. It's traded hands a couple times, but it's been a fairly reliable platform. Once you get the rotary out of it, I mean, that's one of the things. The rotaries are so hard to keep cool. Yeah, rotaries are great, but they're hard to keep cool. We did have the guys that came over here, the Dodge Colt, that they raced last year or the year before, that they put a Mazda rotary engine in a Dodge Colt, which those guys, they do nothing but rotary stuff. They love throwing them in all kinds of different cars. I'm trying to remember their YouTube channel, but they go over all their builds and stuff like that, and they were really fun. And they came all the way out west and did both Olympus and Oregon. So some people have figured out how to make it work, but it ain't easy. Hayden Triggs down here. Down here. Had to get a few of the Canadians to come down here, and many of our American regional in the Western region of America up to the Western regional events of the Canadian Championship. So lots of cross-border love going on there for rally. while we were talking about the Mazda for a bit, one of the more famous Mazdas also was my late friend, Al Dantes Jr. Miss that guy so much, but he is the one that he got so frustrated with overheating the Mazda engine. So in the Mazda, yeah, the RX-7, he's the one that LS swapped it. LS inside the Mazda RX-7, the early 90s model, and much more reliable, but still stupid quick in the darn thing. And we can thank him for the last stage selfie. So be on the lookout on the social medias for a last stage selfie. So we've started by Al. I'll continue it in his honor.
Yeah, the wind has definitely picked up.
Thanks, Wayne. Thanks, Wayne. What I was about to say is the car that was car number 978, Brian Miller and Cindy Carlson, in the BMW 325 there. That one's changed hands also a couple of times. Here was Sage Van Tilburg's car. So that's where that went before he decided to build the BRZ. And then before that, it was AJ Rossiter's car. And I can't remember who it belonged to before that. But yes, it has changed hands a couple of times. Do not have a coffee fail.
Oh.
Always close your valve when saw the chair starting to flip over. I didn't realize the valve was open on my coffee.
No, no.
Bummer.
I can't believe the wind was strong enough to do that, but
Well, the whole chair caught it like a kite.
caught it.
You know, one of the cool things that I love about when we're going out and doing these events was coming out to my car and early this morning and seeing multiple people walking out, holding up their little goodie bags that they got as their volunteers were heading out to go volunteer. Lots of dirty cars in the driveways. Eric Zabala of State Farm Insurance. Again, one of our supporters of our rally. Great to see him out here getting faster and faster. Battled the insurance companies. Later on, we'll hopefully have Garrett Brown. He's with Farmers. It's hard to get that one out of your head. Even if it's an annoying one, it's like if it's in your head, then they win, right? For that part. Yep. that the tablets and phones have IPX standards now to keep out dirt and/or liquids.
Step 5.
I have no idea. I think most of them are like IPX 9 something. One's for particles, one's for liquid, I think.
Right.
Beat both out from Raleigh. Any four-wheel drive 2.5 RS Subaru? Or RS Subaru, that's probably 2.5 liter from the sound of it. Subaru did make what, a 2.2 to 2.3 at some point? What's the cars at 2.5s that you tend to see? Maybe it's 2.2 that I picked up. Yeah. Then of course we need a FA 2.0. FA motors I've heard are just those things you can do a lot more to them. You know, the most modern obviously of the cars. The engine.
Glad the wind is clearing the dust.
And drying out my chair.
Drying out your chair. Sure, the vendors are pretty happy about that too.
You know, it's better than the alternative from we had the forecast rain.
Oh boy, dragging their bumper.
Still dragging it. Sounds like someone is going to get a souvenir.
So what's exciting about that's Zach and Jack Perez. Those two in the Volkswagen Jetta, they're part of our a group that created at Oregon State University. They're college students and creating and they're getting people interested in the sports. Obviously, they have a car that they're running. They're bringing up volunteers that are helping out, getting college kids to know about this sport. I mean, we always say that rallying's the best form of motorsport that nobody knows about. Well, they're helping spread the word, and it's great to see Zach doing so well. They were at Wild West, and they had just gotten to the last stage, and all of a sudden they were stopped. They were doing really good. Well, what had happened is they had a bypass where the car was built, owned by somebody else, previous car. You don't want to build one from scratch the first time. And it had a bypass for the coolant for something else, and that bypass had a plug in it.
Oh no.
And that plug came out and just gushed out all the coolant.
Oh.
So they were just done.
Shoot.
And it wasn't something they could just crimp off easily. It was too big. And yeah, so that ended their day at Wild West. But yeah, it looks like they've really picked up the pace. Maybe gearbox? What was it?
It smells almost like clutch to me.
It's almost like, did he not get a chance of changing there? Or did you just stay in the same gear? I mean, that sounded odd. But that was Michael George and Tyler Valema. And a limited four-wheel drive Super Impreza. They got the turbo motor. I would sit, but wet.
You want to stay here?
No, it's all good.
You've been sending a lot. If you want to take a break,
Nah, it's all good.
we got a lot more to go.
Actually, we do not. We probably have only about, I'd say 8, but yeah, 15 minutes worth of stuff to go. We'll see.
But we need you ready for podium.
Yes, I'll be definitely taking a break until podium. Yes, this is unfortunately our last live stream of the weekend because we normally would be going from here straight over to Mason Lake, which is going to be the final power stage for the Nationals. But because of the 2-minute dust windows and this many cars, by the time we get out of here, that stage will probably almost already be running. So not something we can get there in time. Unfortunate. It happens. We adjust.
Just the last stream of stages today, and we'll do podium.
Yep. So we'll be live at the podium for the regionals first. So the regionals, since they don't do that final power stage, that we'll be doing their podium first. So after they finish this loop of stages, they will go and do one more loop. Eric and Clarissa Votipka. Awesome to see them out here in their Golf limited 2-wheel drive car. Very active on social media. Some of the most fun people in rallying there.
Just gonna pop in for a second and thank both Mike and Aaron for all the hard work this weekend. Without them, there is no way we could have gotten this done.
Thanks, Mark. Well, and thank you for setting this up, trying out a whole new streaming concept. We just come out here and, jabber a bit. But it's also thanks to Morgan 3D. If you ever were interested in like 3D printing and understanding how that all works and the kinds of things that can be built, look up Morgan 3D. He actually makes some pretty cool little things. Actually, Mark, why don't you kind of jump in and talk about the little figurine thing? Because I think you're going to probably have those available on your website, right?
Yeah, I absolutely do. They're on morgan3d.com. I had a special design done for the rally using kind of that typical rally helmet. You don't really see that very often around. Don't see it in that world at all, really. So that is available on my website, both the kind of the classic, the Olympus one, as well if you want to do a custom one. And there's been some others requesting other things, including animal for the logo. Oops, sorry. So I will have that all up on the website there, and also do a lot of custom work. Even working with like Eric Zabala for some different car parts in that. So if there's something that you need, reach out. I can help you out.
That's the future of motorsports too, is doing that 3D printing custom stuff.
There's so much stuff in that. The printers these days can print whole bumpers and sides of cars and all that. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of interior parts and things like that, obviously because out of the plastic things, but then, obviously there's actually metal 3D printing that could be done out there in the world, which is crazy. Actually, if you may remember, even NASA had launched up to the space station a metal 3D printer and then just some rods of the types of metals for it to kind of mix and make to see what it was like in zero gravity, be able to make parts on the fly for future. When we have a base on the moon, when we maybe go to Mars, where instead of having to have a part for everything, some of those that are just manufactured, bits of thing, think of like a control arm for a race car, those kinds of pieces that are just a piece of metal. If they could just fabricate those on the fly, just with having the plans for it, and you just take the raw material. It's so exciting. So it is really kind of the future of a lot of this stuff.
They got Travis back on the road. They just 3D printed him a new one, but that's a rumor at this point. So
yeah, that's exciting. Well, anyways, you want to know more about 3D printing? Check out Morgan 3D. He's got all kinds of neat stuff. Figurine thing is just some fun stuff. Have your be on it, right? On the helmet or body of the little figurine. It's pretty cool.
Maybe next year we'll get ones put on the front of cars. Legacy. All right, I'll drop back off here. Let you guys talk.
Steve Greer and the classic McRae liveried Legacy. One of the star cars, I would say, that's out here. Like, not just star because of how cool that car is. It's got a water intercooler, by the way, water exchange intercooler, which is very rare, especially trying to find one for that era of Subaru. He was always telling me that like that engine never gets hot. Like he can basically go shut it off, put his hand on the intercooler, and it's just warm.
What?
That's how well it works.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty cool for the water exchange system that's got there. But also that car is famous for burning down.
Yep.
It's burned from the rear. It was on the I think at a Wattsel stage from several years ago, and a rock I think got the fuel tank or something like that, but burned from the back forward. They pulled over, everybody was fine, they got out, but the whole chassis burnt all the way up to the firewall from the rear. So actually the engine and everything was okay, and so that's actually got, I believe, the same engine, maybe a couple of parts maybe replaced, but for the most part, yeah, it's the front part of that car. They just pulled it out, put it in a new chassis. There was some local support to make sure that car got they got a rebuilt car and put that livery on it and get back out racing. And Steve Greer has been around for a long time. I don't want to say he's old, but we'll say we're well experienced. But yeah, no, it's awesome to see Steve out here and having a good time on these roads that he's, competed on for many years. And he often had his daughter at his side, but this time he's got Kendra Miller sitting next to him. So Kendra's an awesome co-driver. So there was a car that was stopped and is now moving again. Didn't hear what car number it was, but that was car 755, Lyle Gee and Elizabeth Austin, their BMW. One of the quietest BMWs I've heard. I don't know. That's I wonder what's quieter, the Mini or that BMW?
It's
close.
the Mini.
You think
It's
the
the
Mini?
Mini.
Yeah, it's the Mini. Have just a few left here. Looking to see Kenny and Kylie Copeland go by. Now, wasn't you were saying something that they had done different with that car, that they had that beluga nose kind of on it?
It's
It's a case swap.
case swapped, yes.
That's right. I was hearing about that. Now, I need to find a moment to talk to them.
Which is pretty remarkable. I've heard of someone trying to case swap a Fiesta.
Yeah.
It did not work out.
Yeah.
They could not get the geometry to quite fit. So, sounds like a great idea. But
So I don't know if you remember the Honda CRZ, the little compact hybrid thing that they had. Really cool looking car, but it was like a slow
I
hybrid.
love the CRZ. Yeah.
But it looked cool, right?
Right.
No, it was a CRZ.
Oh.
It was based on the CRX, like in concept. It was a little hybrid thing.
Oh yes.
All right, Anthony Johnson and Nathan Leitner. Their little 318i. Also not limited to wheeler class. That one we definitely heard coming. Number 401. But I was saying the CRZ, there was the guys that were part of the Honda team that used to compete all across the country, the Heart Racing, as they were called. Before that was what HPD, Honda Performance Development, something like that.
Yes.
Anyways, they had taken it was at Ojibwe, and they had taken a CRZ and K-swapped it.
That's awesome.
So it has kind of that
How much-
space age looking car,
Yeah,
you know.
how much does that weigh?
Right, exactly. Unfortunately, it did not make it to the end of the rally. It lost all the magic juice on the ground, and did not make it to the end. I really wanted to see them like rebuild that thing and get it figured out, as it was really cool looking. Or 337, Ethan Hunter and Alex Augustine. Beautiful livery on that car, actually. They're in an NA four-wheel drive Impreza. And I forgot to mention when car 709 went by, we were all talking with Mark there. That's Christoph Steinhagen and Manuel Steinhagen that went by earlier in their Audi 80. All German.
I must have noticed them yesterday. I think they have do they have their German flags on there?
They do have the German flags on the car. Yes.
That's cool.
I think we're picking up maybe the microphone on your camera over there. Oh, okay. It's some sort of clipping that's coming through, it looks like. Chirp, chirp sound.
I wonder if
So I was wondering if it's that little flag thing over there. Yeah, the tape that's near your camera. Well, hopefully others aren't hearing it. Maybe it's just me. You know, the audio we get maybe is slightly different than what everybody else gets.
When I'd asked Mark if the audio was good, it was because
I heard a little flickering going on, but seems to be okay now.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Mark. There, WRX. Four-wheel drive box. Hoping you see the Copelands go by somewhere in this group here. Let's see the K-swap. It must have taken, taken a look like, well, if they let Sam Albert do the Ferrari in and put in that, the bulb on the nose of his car to fit that engine in there, maybe we can do that same hood concept for doing a K-swap. Because obviously the engine, the Subarus are known for their low center of gravity with the horizontally posed engine. You go vertical with a K-swap, ooh, that's not going to fit the same.
Nope.
Air is finally dropped. I can sit for a moment.
we have no new times or
Do we have any new times? A specific time that you were looking for, sir?
yes.
I can type it in right. Oh, we got one more car. Five. For this stage.
Oh, I just wanted to.
Okay, so now that we've got, let me go for overall regional or overall. Super. Okay, overall regional. So we still have at the very top Josh Gearman with the lead of 3 minutes and 43 seconds. Yeah, so he's well ahead of second place was Trenton Corey.
I think he's in Greece.
Quite possible. And average for Josh Gearman is 53.38 miles an hour.
Wow.
Not bad. Next below them is another 2 minutes 14 seconds back. Is third one on the list here is Andrew Rivas and Anthony Campbell in their cross track. And a 4-wheel drive car. The first two are NA 4-wheel drive. So it's interesting, an open 4-wheel drive is actually slower. But again, that's Rivas getting used to that new platform in the cross track. In fourth overall, actually, is Julian Sabot and his open 2-wheel drive car with
Let's
Steven
go,
Carroll
Julian.
next to him. Yeah, right.
Attaboy.
So he's another 2.5
That's very
minutes
bone.
back. But definitely well ahead in the open 2-wheel drive class. Limited 4-wheel drive, Drew Coley and Chad Holloway. Minutes. We got some pretty big gaps each other here. Minute 59 X to Lucas Chalcraft and Cody Crawford. They're in the limited 2-wheel drive, so big lead there in the limited 2-wheel drive. Second limited 2-wheel drive looks like it's Jeff Castro, followed by Sage Van Tilburg. Let's see here, going back to the NA4. Yeah, Josh Gearman, we talked about Trent Corey. And the next up is Ben Hart and Thomas Smith. Yeah, Thomas Smith was going. How close he is to Dave Valspon, though. Looks like over a minute and a half. Limited 4-wheel drive. Finley was leading that. Second limited 4-wheel drive got Scott Trout. Followed by Justin Nelson and Serena. We said Nicholas was leading, Alex Artiball, and Garth Ankeny, third in open 2-wheel drive so far. It's been a bit of a trend that I think has had something to do with it. Oh, well, you know what? I got active stages running, so things might move around a bit. I may be wrong on some of these. It does look, well, no, I think that might be right. Consistency of some of the time. Yeah.
Guess who? Sounding a little underpowered, actually.
That would be Devastator, driven by Jacob Sturgeon and his wife, Isabella Cook.
They usually are attacking a little harder. I wonder if there's some issues.
Yeah, because of issues that they had, Michael Hunt calling categories, so that even though they're farther up on the start order, they are like sixth in work. Bummer. But I think their speed factor is going to go up regardless, because definitely showed some good speed this weekend. Going through the open two, so we got Julian Sabot, going over to Alex Artiball, right? And after that, That was our thing.
They're getting caught.
That's enough. We got that'd be Kevin Sheldon and Arthur Hedderly Smith. And there's Chevy Sonic, also in the limited 2-wheel drive class. The open four leader is Johnny Summers. Second for me, Johnny Summers. Third in open four would be Ryan Belfio. It was the issue that he had getting the car fixed and getting it back on the road. Really, you're focusing on me sitting in a chair?
Yep, here he is, guys.
Oh gosh, great stuff here. All the action. So we have limited. First up is Lucas Chalkrab. Look at it. He's been so much faster in that car. It's so great to see. With Jeff Castro in second and St. John Tilburg in third. Covers all of the classes. You got overall, you got open 4, limited 4, NA 4. Got the open 2 and limited 2. So for those that really don't understand the classes, open 4-wheel drive, you can do just a lot more to your car. They're usually turbo cars. It's what the top factory Subarus when they're running with the open 4-wheel drive.
Aero.
Yeah, you can do more aero. There's a lot more liberty you can do in changing your suspension, mounting, things like that. Limited 4-wheel drive started out as kind of being actually what was called production or super production, but then they progressively needed the cars to be a little bit more performance.
Oh, it's Noah. Let's go, Noah. Let's go, baby.
You can see the withies are still in it.
But this did. The car's running a lot better than it should be.
Yeah, it's sounding okay. I mean, he's still nursing along.
These issues that they were working through.
Yeah.
We talked to a park expose. They're like, well, it's running.
I'm really happy he's just getting the experience he really wanted. So
But that isn't necessarily the last car. No, the last car is one we all know.
Pepto-Bismol.
One we all know, one we all love. You either love it because you love it or you love to hate it. I don't know which. I love it. It just looks fun as hell.
Can't get parts for it.
You're trying to cram yourself inside it.
Yeah, you can. Can you get parts for it?
For Geo Metro? That is a good question.
Get in
Yeah, they're
contact with
gonna have
Mark.
to start B3D printing. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep, get in contact with Mark right away. Mark, sounds like a sponsorship opportunity for you.
Right?
Not all original parts, because you'll hear some pretty loud wastegate sounds when he lets off the gas. I don't recall a Metro being on that you could buy that was turbocharged.
No.
That's what I love also about this sport is, to these competitors that are also tuners, or, wrenchers, that cars to them are like Legos.
Yes.
You can kind of just build what you want. They manufacture their own or can find, parts that are adapters to make a part that you would think would fit with one thing, connect to another, or have something 3D printed that can do that. It's really crazy.
And it's really interesting when you get from the mechanical side of what it can do into the tuning side and how much more you can unlock leash using just your tuning.
And that always puts you in an open class, right?
Yes.
So whether it's open 2-wheel drive or the open 4-wheel drive, but
Well, actually, I was going to say, I think the ECUs are tuned for even the limited 2-wheel drives. I remember a Fiesta that I was working on once had a ECU issue because they were having a
What was the?
Well, they have to tune them somewhat in that they
Yeah.
have to take away where they, otherwise it's just spinning tires the way the CAN bus system
Right.
in all cars are now,
Right.
is the car will just go into limp mode. Like, oh, I'm spinning my tires too much. There must
Yeah.
be something broken.
Yeah.
Blinker isn't working. Go into limp mode.
Limp
you know,
mode,
whatever.
Yep,
Just
limp mode.
all kinds of just stupid stuff. Just like limp mode, limp mode, limp mode. So yes, they do have to do a specific flash for the.
I'll have to ask my buddy
ECUs.
Chase Ovinga about that one. He'll remember.
There it is.
Love that.
I can't do it because my voice is still messed up. But yeah, that boop, 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 boop. When he lets off the throttle, it's hilarious. So car 261, Dean Nesham and Stephen Churchill in the Geo Metro. Always gets a huge applause when he goes by spectator. That should be our last car. Other than the sweet vehicles, we have done it. We've done 3 days of live streaming. Well, of course, we'll still do the podium. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, rally fans.
Let's go and see that when the sweet vehicles go by, instead of staring at me. I have been your host for this stuff out here, along with Aaron. Aaron, why don't you get in front of the camera and say hi real quick?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, Aaron England. Mark Morgan is controlling, of course, the background of things.
Thank you, Sweet.
Yep, I'm just here. Oh, there's Sweet.
That is safety sweep. That's the first of the sweep vehicles that follows the last car. And also just checks on any of the cars that are off, even though they obviously would have had their okay signs out. Just making sure that they know, whether what kind of help that they need, so they can communicate that before the heavy sweep comes through. And with that, I just want to make sure that we thank all of our supporters. You know, this is the final day of the Kubota Olympus Rally presented by Dirtfish. You know, we've got so many supporters to help make this huge event happen. You know, was supposed to be originally 198 stage miles. Obviously, we ended up losing about 25 miles yesterday, but still a mammoth event. Nobody could have expected that we would have just such a huge rally. And it's great to do that in honor of the 40th anniversary since the end of Group B, which was run on some of these same roads. And we'd also like to thank Toyota of Olympia, Eric from State Farm, Garrett from Farmers, who didn't go by.
He didn't go by.
Garrett,
on that.
he was smoking yesterday when the
Garrett
rod
pushed
sold.
you
So
hard.
they must have found out that they had an issue there. I want to also make sure we thank Beanbags Coffee, Stephen Red Racing, which you see a lot of those cars that were run by them, Northwest Timber Ridge Homes, Cowbell Rally, Bailey Enterprises, Brian Armstrong Realty, 501c Rally Team, and of course, our very own Morgan 3D. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you next at the podium. We're going to sign off.
Thanks all.